Hello my friends, welcome to Pro Strings and the Learn to Play Suzuki Violin course in 30 days. I am Henriette and today is day 9. In this lesson we will be going over the A scale again and we will learn to play Go Tell Aunt Rhody. First I will play you the tuning notes. Here is your A. Here is D. Here is G. And E. Let's begin warming up with the A scale, which you can find on page 30 in your Suzuki Book 1. Why do I like to play a scale at the start of each lesson? For 2 reasons. Firstly, to warm up your fingers, and secondly, to develop our bowing technique. As violinists, we are always working to improve the quality of the sound that we make. So here we go with the A scale. I am going to play each note twice with long bows. When you play, try to focus on playing with the straight bow, so you push your bow arm forwards. And we're also going to try to let our bow swing, so the bow is travelling at a fairly brisk pace, playing whole bows. I will count us in for 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done. Before we start to play Aunt Rhody, we will first read it through just to check that we know all the notes in the song. So let's put the violin down and open the book on page 29. Now when we look at this piece, we can see that it uses 3 different types of notes. First we have the crotchet, like we have as our first note. In America, you call it a quarter note. Then we have the quavers. Those 2 are the notes that are joined up 2 together, like here, or 4 together there. They go twice as fast as the crotchets and they're called quavers. And then we have got the minims, or the half notes as you call them in America, and they are twice as long as the crotchets. Okay, now the crotchets we are going to play with the whole bow. The quavers we're going to play with half a bow, and those minims we're going to play with a whole bow as well, but our bow is going to be travelling at half the speed of when we play the crotchets. So you go very slowly with your bow on these long notes. So let's now read the piece through and find out how we're going to bow this piece. So we're going to go on a whole bow, half, half, whole bow, whole bow, whole bow, whole bow, half, half, whole, whole bow, half, half, whole bow, half, 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 whole bow, but a very slow bow. Okay, so if you find this confusing, please don't fret. We will be playing this shortly and I will show you how to do it as well. Now that we've sorted out the bowing, let's take a look at which fingers we will be using. We are going to start on the A string and we will read through the whole of line 1. So we're on the A string playing 2 fingers, 2, 1, A, 1, 1, 2, 1, A. 4th finger. You remember we've done this in earlier lessons whenever we have been given the option of a 0, an open E string, or a 4th finger on A. Use the A string, the 4th finger, for the simple reason that you can practice that pinky a little bit more. 4, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, 0, so the open A string, 1, 2, long A. Good. I will play you the piece first and then we will play it together. You may check if you can spot the whole and half bows that I will be using. So now you know how this piece sounds. Let's play it together at a slow pace. We will start on the 2nd finger, so let's test that 2nd finger first. So I'm going to play A, 1, 2. A, 1, 2. And that is our starting note sorted out. So I'm going to count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was great. Now let's read through line 2. This line is partly played on the A string and partly played on the E string. So when we've got line 2, we start on the 2nd finger, 2, 2, 3, E, E, and here I would like you to play the open E string because what comes after is also on E. So we have to go to the E string anyway. So E, E, then we get 1 finger on E, 1 finger on E, E, 3 on A, 2 on A. 2, 2, 3, E, E, 1 finger on E, 1 finger on E, long E. So shall we try and play that? So this line also starts on the 2nd finger, so let's test our finger there. And once you've got your finger in the right place, let's get started. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. noticed already that line 3 is the same as line 1. So I don't think we will need to practice that separately at this moment. So now let's put the whole song together. I will count us in for 4, but we'll first check our second finger. Here we go. One, 2, 3, 4. Well done, everyone. For those of you who can play this comfortably, do join in with me when we play this once more at a slightly faster pace. So after 4, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. If you haven't quite managed to keep up today, keep playing this over and over at a slow pace. I would much rather see you play this more slowly and with a good bowing technique and nicely in tune than going too fast and losing control. So please don't be put off if this was way too fast for you. There are many other people who also find this very challenging. If you want to, please write in the comments box what you find the most tricky bit. Any questions that you may have, you can also write in the comments box. I do get to see this and I will answer your questions. For those of you who want to know a little bit more about this piece, I will explain all the other markings that are in this piece as well. Firstly, at the top here it says andantino. Now andante, from which the word andantino is derived, means at a walking pace. And this is just a very comfortable pace that you can play it on. Not too fast, not too slow, a sort of intermediate pace. Now then it says here MF. And the letters MF stand for mezzo forte. And in Italian, the word mezzo forte means medium loud. So you start neither too loud nor too quietly. And then you play all of this at that level of volume. Then a bit further on, here you come across the letter P. And P stands for piano. And piano in Italian means soft. So you go and play this bit a lot quieter than how you started. And then you keep the quiet playing till the end of line 2. Then we're back at mezzo forte here. So we go a bit louder when the tune comes back in line 3 and you play at mezzo forte level all the way through to the end. So I'll play this for you once more with the louds and softs. Don't worry at this stage if you are not anywhere near playing louds and softs, because in my view that comes a little bit later, but since it's in this music I thought I'd just explain it to you. Now, how you can play louder and softer, there are 3 different ways you can make your playing louder or quieter. The first one is to use more bow. When you play louder, you play more bow. When you play softer, you make your bows a little bit shorter, so you get a little bit quieter. We are using the whole bow already, so this is good to start off. I would say this is a mezzo forte level of playing when you play with the whole bow. So in that softer section, make your bow strokes a little bit shorter so that it becomes a bit quieter. That is one way of playing loud and soft. A second way is when you play closer to the bridge with your bow, so more here, your playing is louder, and when you play further away from the bridge, in other words closer to the fingerboard, your playing gets a little bit quieter. So you can experiment with that as well. The third way you can make a distinction between loud and soft is when you press a little bit harder on the bow or a little bit less hard on the bow. And I wouldn't worry too much about that at this stage in your playing, because in general I would say try and press not too hard on your bow anyway when you're first starting off. So it's very early days to be thinking about increasing the pressure into your bow or making it less. I would say generally just leave that the same and just work on using longer bows and shorter bows for now as well. So let me play it one final time for you with louds and softs. Well done today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and I look forward to seeing you in day 10. Happy practicing.